Talking about social. All right. So today we'll be talking about social engineering with a focus on phishing, phishing email. Um, yeah, so social engineering is one of the major means whereby malicious actors perpetrate their threats in today's cyber digital space. So we are all I believe the majority of us are kind of like from the same um background. Let's like we are from the same, we are all, or let me rather put it this way. So a lot of us know a thing or two about Nigerians, and one of the predominant ills in the Nigerian society that the government have been trying to wipe out now for quite a while, which is, I believe everybody must have heard of the 419 scheme, which is basically fraud. So, but yeah, so what we're talking about in social engineering is, it's just like that, but this time it's more concentrated on the cybersecurity aspect of the whole thing. And one of the major means by which this fraud, or less like 419, is being perpetuated is through what we call social engineering. And social engineering is just the manipulation of individual human beings into divulging confidential information, or and also performing acts that could compromise the security of their digital space, accounts, email, anything whereby you extract personal information. So it might just be a personal information, organizational information, national information, and all that. So mostly the intent to do that is probably majorly fraud. Although, apart from fraud, there are other motivations like political activism, um, somebody trying to make a statement, industrial espionage, national interests like war. Like we have the current war going on, which is basically a lot of it has gone into, it's kind of like on the digital space now. Yeah, so that's what social engineering is. So I don't know how old a lot of us are here, but at least we could all remember. I do remember personally myself back them days. I remember this was before the internet spread. Those days we used to make phone calls. Probably, I remember walking into this place in Lagos Island called Oliole, and those days it was quite funny. Somebody right in front of us, whereby we didn't have access to like making international calls, so we used to go to these call centers. Then the Nigerian Communications Organization, NITEL, then we found it a bit expensive, so want to cut corners, we now go to Oluyole to make calls. Probably you could spend like 30 minutes, an hour, and you just pay a little money. And right there in front of me, somebody kind of like made a call, and it was an international call. And he was kind of like on the top of his voice. He was posing and telling the other guy over the phone, and telling the guy he's the central bank governor. He cannot disappoint him. What does he want to do? Put him down before ministers. That does he know who he is? He's the central bank governor, and we were all dazed. I was just meanwhile looking at this guy, claiming to be a central bank governor. I said, wow. So when he finished, he acted as if he wasn't even doing anything wrong. He finished his call, paid his money, and he walked off. That was the first encounter I had with these guys, these fraudsters. So that was then. Then, yeah, of course, it was rampant and popular those days. And eventually, the email, these guys now transited from phone calls into emails. I remember there was I'm originally an architect, and so those days, one of a client of mine, I went to his house to visit him, and I just bumped into the living room, and I saw heaps and heaps of letters. They were kind of like piling letters, to post them out by mail. I was like, what is happening here? And the guy just quickly realized I'm not supposed to see what I'm saying, and he just kind of like ushered me into some other room. And that was how, and my second time of bumping into these guys, how they do my scam people. Then was emails, letters. So they now graduated into emails. Well, I'm just trying to set a foundation how this social engineering works. Yeah, they now graduated into emails. That was in the 90s. And from since that time to this day, emails is the predominant, one of, should I say, even the most predominant forms of how these threats hackers get into companies. Basically, this is how they do it. Whether you have your system, if it's online or offline. When a system is not online, it is offline. You begin to think, how can you get into that system that is offline? And when a system is online, you begin to think, how can you get a system that into that system that is online? Basically, the system that is all offline has no internet connected to it. So now you want to get into that system. Basically, one of the ways you can always get into that system is by getting your hands on the user account and the password with which you can use to log into that system. And the only means you can lay your hands on that is, one of the easiest means is social engineering. Then online too, lay your hands on somebody's network. How can you get into somebody's network? One of the easiest ways you can also do it is social engineering. So now the question is, how does this social engineering work? Because you want to get into a system either online or offline. So how does it work? Now, it's simple. Social engineering is just a system by which they use to manipulate, to get information from people, their user accounts, their passwords. Then how do they get a password? Now, number one, they have some various psychological means and means of manipulation which they do it. For example, trust. These days and times, people get close to people. That's like you walk into an office and you know that you want to get into their system, and you first and foremost, it's going to be a very difficult thing to do, to just get into somebody's system through online. So to make things easy for you, you need some form of information. You need to extract information. So now what people do these days, and I'm telling you this because this is happening live, even to these days, people exploit trust. You get into somebody, get the person to trust you, which happens every day from the cyber cafe, people visiting organizations. You get a staff in there and you warm up to the person and you start telling stories, get friendly with the person. And the guy is very unaware of your intentions. But you, who is the hacker, you know what you're doing. And based on the grounds of familiarity, you begin to ask the person these questions. You remember when the password stuff we did the last time, when we had to go to social media to seek out the people's names, you seek out their names, you seek out their birthdays, and with their names, their birthdays, their location, you can compute these things together to get out a password with which you can log into their systems. And probably from the social media account, you can extract their emails. So now, such things, you can get it out from the person by having a gist, a conversation, one-on-one, friendly conversation with a person. And, like, by the time you spend 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you now tell the person, hey, I have this, what do you do? And the person tells you what he does. You say, hey, I have this thing. I don't know if you'll be interested in it. Please, if you give me your email, maybe I'll send you some information based on that. I'll send you an email. And the person, without any thoughts, giving any thoughts, he gives you his email. and then you go home with the person's email, you're armed with his name, you're armed with his surname, and probably depending on how skilled you are, you could also arm yourself with his birth date. And sometimes people tell stories. You could, if the guy is a loose person, he could give you almost every information concerning himself just by a meeting of 10 minutes or 30 minutes. Based on familiarity ground, you get out with a lot of information with which you can use against him. So there is the aspect of fear, urgency, familiarity, intimidation. Remember the guy I told you at 𝐂𝐎𝐍𝐍𝐄𝐂𝐓, who was making a call and he was shouting and telling somebody over the phone that he's a CBN governor? Now that's intimidation. He's intimidating the person to get information from the person or to get the person to do what he actually wants to do. So now, what are the common tools with which you use to get the password, user accounts and passwords from people? For example, very common, text messages. I know a lot of us here, you must have received some text messages from time to time, and it probably could be on your on your phone, it could be on your WhatsApp, telling you, hey, they, like the one I got some time ago, they sent me a text message say, I'm in danger of falling out of the law with the HMRC, that is the British Inland Revenue, that I have a problem with my tax, that I have to call now or send them now. If I call now, then I'll rectify the situation with them, then I'll be free. I don't need to go to court. And that's a trap, because once you call, they are so skilled in such a way that they'll talk you down the lane, and from there they probably extract your name, extract your passwords, and from once they have those tools in their hands, they could just gain access into your probably bank accounts and all that. And then we have websites, we have physical interactions, which I've mentioned, like WhatsApp. We have a lot of people's social media. We have a lot of people, their WhatsApp being compromised from time to time. So the thing is, your WhatsApp don't just get compromised. Sometimes they send a link to the WhatsApp. I had an experience. So somebody called me and told me, hey, that I'm on this group. It was like a group of architects, and my coordinator, we had done a birthday celebration for him sometime, and he told me, hey, he's from that group, and there's a conference coming up, and that, am I still on the group? I said yes. Am I interested in the conference? I said yes. Then he now said, asked me, can I see his number? I said, yes, I can see your number. He said, well, if I can see my number, can I see a particular code coming on my screen? And a code popped up, and he now asked me, can I click on the code? I just looked at him and I laughed. I said, well, I have started it. And there about that time, I had started cybersecurity course with BlueSky. I just looked at the guy and I said, this guy thinks I'm a fool, because once you click on that code, you're gone. Your account is compromised. So immediately I asked him, I said, why should I click on the code, and who are you? Where are you calling from? And immediately he saw me asking him some questions. He went off. Then we have emails, we have phone calls, we have pretexting. Now, I'll talk a little bit about pretexting here now. Pretexting is just basically people giving you, telling you stories or painting a scenario that is wrong, that they are not. Probably somebody gives you a call and he tells you, I'm calling from Barclays Bank, and he knows you have an account with Barclays, and he tells you there is a problem with your account and so is wrong, it needs to be rectified, and he tells you he's going to send you a link now. What that guy is doing at that time is called pretexting, because number one, he's painted a scenario that is wrong, and he's telling you to do something which is malicious, and it's not coming from Barclays Bank. Or somebody wants to gain an access into a building, and he just approaches the security man and start telling him, hey, I'm from United Utility, and probably he's dressed like a workman. He tells you, I'm coming from United Utility, and there's a problem in this building. What's a problem? But you see, I forgot my phone at home, and my mates are walking in there. I can't really go back home. I can't call home because I don't have my phone, but I need to get into the building and walk because there's a plumbing issue. And the security guard looks at him, and without verifying if they're a workman in the building, gives him access. That is exactly a pretext scenario. So now we have emails. So now let's go to for the other side. So now another common tool of social engineering, probably I think I should mention here, is shoulder surfing. And now shoulder surfing is like somebody peeping at your phone or your device to see what you are doing on your phone or device and picking information, very sensitive information from your device or your screen, and to use it to do something very malicious. And you know, that's a common thing that happens in a place of work. Maybe you're typing something on your screen, a colleague of yours is walking right behind you, and due to curiosity, and a lot of people are curious, and they just look over your shoulder, they want to look at your screen. Or perhaps you yourself too might have found yourself doing it sometime too, you know, and that's it. And if you're not careful, and probably somebody has a bad intention walking right behind you, and you lose your guards, you could just pick the information at like a place of work. So many times I'd want to log into my system, and a colleague is probably standing beside me, and at that time I don't know what to do. Should I log in? And if I log in, I type in my password, he's going to see my password. So what do? Do I tell him, excuse me, I want to log into my laptop or my device? Could you give me a minute or two? When I log in, you can come back again. Which is the right thing to do? So I know some of us must have caught ourselves in such positions. But yeah, but that's the right thing to do. So that is what is called shoulder surfing. Then after so now, with all I have said so far, we all know that the intentions of social engineering is to acquire or to extract sensitive information from you in order to gain access to your accounts, to your digital devices, to your network organization, in order to exploit you. So now I've talked a whole lot. So I've talked about social engineering. Now, under social engineering, we have a whole lot of threats that exist under social engineering. So one of them is phishing. That's the most common one. And yeah, I'll talk about phishing in a while, because that's where we'll be going to. So we have phishing, we have this spear phishing, which is the elder brother of phishing, and we have the agbalagba, the uncle of spear phishing, which is whale phishing. We have baiting, we have pretexting. I just talked about pretexting. We have tailgating. Actually, tailgating, I don't know how many of you have tried getting into a building, and while you were trying to get into a building, you have a card. Probably you have a card, an access card to get into the building. And just as you're trying to get into the building or through the barrier, somebody comes behind you, takes advantage of you, of your access, your authorization access into the building, and he takes advantage as you're walking past. He's coming right behind you. Now, that is what we call tailgating, because that person is taking advantage of your authorization to get into the building, and that's wrong. According to the law and the policies of most organizations, that's not allowed. You know, another one that also happens is like somebody comes and tells the person, somebody approaches you and tells you, hey, I forgot my card or my fob at home, so I can't get into this workplace today. And the person says, and you tell the person, oh, it's all right, I'll let you in. And you tell the person, come to the door. The person comes to the door, and now you let the person in with your own card. Now, that's very wrong. Now, the reason why that is very wrong is, number one, if anything happens, that person got into your name. So you could also be putting yourself in a whole lot of danger. Then number two, if there is fire in that building, you know, and they're accounting for people who are in the building or who needs to be rescued, probably everybody's come out from the building, but that person who went in through your name has not come out of the building. And because the people on the logs who went into the building are out of the building, they say, okay, we are all safe now. And they say, we don't need to go in to rescue anybody. And perhaps that person is still in that building. So you see, that person can be rescued because the person is not in any log, is not in any register that he actually entered that building. So that's one of the reasons why piggybacking is not good. So of course, I've talked about shoulder surfing. So when I get to the next page, so these are common types of social engineering anyway. So now, what is the characteristics of social engineering? The characteristics of social engineering is like the style that these guys use in order to get into people or to get people to extract information of people. They take advantage of this urgency. I don't know if any of you have actually encountered some of these fraudsters. They come to you and they tell you, hey, there's a deal right now. There's a deal right now. We need to take advantage of this deal. I mean, this deal, if you don't take advantage of it right now, once it's gone, it's gone. And when they put that thing, they kind of like plunge you into a position of panic at that time, and what their intention is to get you to commit to whatsoever they're telling you to do, and that's just one of the ways, one of their styles. Another style is authority. Probably they pose as somebody of influential, or they pose as a military man or as a policeman, or probably let's like I this is quite funny. This is quite funny. I remember a situation back home in Nigeria. I don't know, there was a particular situation and I ran into some guys, and when I ran into some guys and they were kind of like trying to get me to do some things, and they were actually fraudsters, and they just kind of like got somebody who was a fake policeman, and I kind of like I panicked because I actually thought the policeman was real, but that's a fake policeman, and it still happens today. So because those guys were actually kind of take advantage of me, intimidate me. That's a tactic, intimidatory, a tactics of intimidation. They use some form of authority to intimidate people or to influence people to get them to do something. And sometimes, when you see a man in uniform, you trust the person. Like here, when you see a British police officer, you tend to trust the person, and that could be a fluke to just get you to do something. They could also exploit fear, greed, like the Nigerian priest system, when they send off their fake emails to people abroad, they are taking advantage of people's greed, people's shortcomings to greed and curiosity. So now, how do we spot them? All of the things I've just told you, anytime you see things like that, that something fishy is happening. When they want to force you into revealing some certain information or diverging information or sending an email or clicking a link, or probably you get a phishing email that is threatening you, a phishing email that imposes some form of urgency, authorizing you to do something now, or you could get into trouble. Now that's a trick, and also, for grammatical errors in phishing email, well, I'll leave that because we'll soon get into that. So we get to the next. So now, mitigation strategy. So how do we stand against the social engineering? What do we do to prevent such situations? Number one, education. We have to educate our staffs, just like we are kind of like sitting here today talking about this. You have to educate your staff, even as cybersecurity professionals, because what we're doing today, you're being in training, this is one of the things. If you see this, or probably one of your colleagues are going through this, kind of like, that it's something is fishy here, something is not right. So training them to recognize this threat. So anytime they come across it, they know that something is fishy. Then another thing is verification. For example, you're working in an organization, somebody sends you a mail. Please, before you yield, or you commit yourself, or you do whatsoever the email instructs you, first and foremost, pick the phone and call the person. Hey, I just got an email from you claiming it's, are you the person who sent the email? And let the person confirm that he's actually the person who's behind the email, before you commit to do anything. So always verify. Probably it might be a text message. Like we do this every day. Sometimes, I don't know, somebody sent you want to send the money to somebody and you send money to the person. Then you also have to call the person. You call the person, hey, did you receive the money? And the person say, yeah, I received it. Then, transaction completed. Just the same way. Before you do anything, people get to do anything, you always get them to call or send a text message or do one thing to confirm. Don't just rely on one-way means of communication. Remember, multi-factor authentication, which is about which is like verifying and confirming things before you proceed. So now in social engineering, the use of spam filters, firewalls in laptops, phones, servers, and all that. Email security system, we are getting to phishing, then reporting protocols, procedures, teaching the organization, the staff to report anything suspicious. Like we hear in the railway station, airport, say, if you see anything suspicious, please don't fail to report it. Then now move to phishing. So now understanding phishing. So what is phishing? Phishing is just an attempt to penetrate a network through sending spoofed emails. So let me explain how this works in the first place. Now, what they do, the normal way this thing works in spoofed emails is that somebody wants to get into a network. So what they do, they send a malicious link, and that link, they put it in an email. Because remember, I told you that how can they hack you? Because for them to hack a system, a network organization, they need you to commit to something. They need you to click something, because it's difficult for them to just pick up your IP address and boom, get in. That is hard work. The easiest way is to get you to commit to something, and that's how that's what they do, because it's quite easy for them to do. So they now send an email with a malicious link, and they get you to click on that link. And once you click on that link to lead you to can lead you to a website, and in that website they now get you to probably to put in your username and your password. Once you do that, bam, they've gotten your user name, your account name, and they've gotten your password. They are good to go. Whatever they want to do, maybe get into your bank account. Another thing, they could direct you to a banking website and probably your bank page, and you get to do a transaction. You think you're doing it's genuine, but it's not genuine. Another thing that could be done is that link. Immediately you click it, it connects to a server immediately somewhere, and immediately your system connects to a server. Your system now downloads a virus or a worm or a ransomware with which they can use to perpetuate their act. That's another way it works. Then another way it works is that in that link that is on your email, a code is hidden beside that link. Immediately you click on that link, immediately a code gets downloaded and gets installed on your laptop. Boom, they are in. So that is why phishing is very, very dangerous. Now, varieties of phishing. We have this fair phishing, which they send generally to everybody in an organization. Then we have the clone phishing. The clone phishing, whereby they duplicate legitimate emails. Probably you get an email from your bank and it looks like it's from your bank, but on close observation, you know that this is not coming from your bank. Then whaling. Whaling is like the ones they target a boss, probably the MD, the CEO. That email is specially targeted to him. And they word the email in such a way that he comes in. Then you have smishing. Smishing is phishing by text messages. Like instead of them sending you these malicious links on the email, they can send it as text messages. They can send it to you on your WhatsApp. They can send it to your WhatsApp, sometimes even Facebook, because I've got an experience on Facebook before. I clicked a link, and it took me to entirely another website, and the transaction that I started in Facebook, I had, they were kind of like luring me to conclude that transaction in another website. So you have vision. Vision is voice calls. When they call you and they say, hey, are you so and so person? And they ask you some question, probably your Netflix account, Amazon account, or your power account, and they tell you, oh, you have some problem, we've come to fix it, or they tell you you've been in an accident or stuff like that, and they use the system of pretext, try to talk you into revealing your identity so that they can penetrate you. Now, this is a way that it works.
Sorry, I have a question. I've been raising my hand up. Sorry.
Yeah. Probably, is it okay if I attend to your questions at the end?
Okay then. Okay then.
Yeah, please. Thank you. So now we have this is just a system like all that I've been trying to explain to you how it works. You see, this attacker kind of like gets the images of the details of a real website, clones his own website, puts it down, and at the same time, because there are different ways of your email can be extracted. Like, I remember those days I went into a cyber cafe, and some guy who was a fraudster sitting beside me, and the guy thought I was interested. You know what? The guy looked at me and said, hey guy, make I show you as they carry make money, to let him teach me how to be a fraudster. Do you know what? The guy kind of like told me a software to download. I downloaded it in a cyber cafe, and boom, he now told me target this software in a particular area, geographical area. Immediately I targeted that software in a particular geographical area in the US. Every email in that geographical location just came down to my screen, thousands of them. If I want emails in that particular location with the name of John, all of them comes out. Then he now tells me, now the email you have kind of like configured, the email message you have kind of like configured, he now tells you can send it to all of them with one click. You now send 1,000 emails with one click. That's how these things work. So now the attacker has configured his own the email. He extracted the employee's email. Then he now sent it to him as a phishing email. Then the employee gets the email. It's not so careful. Now clicks on the link on his email, voila, he's onto the phishing website. So as he gets to the phishing website, now the attacker, who is also monitoring the phishing website, immediately the guy gets here and fills in his credentials on the phishing website because he actually thinks it's a real website. Immediately he puts in his credentials there, his name, user account, password, everything, all his details. The attacker has it. The attacker just takes that information with which he launches his attack. So that's the way it works. So now, vectors and indications of phishing, the primary one is email. Remember I told you, I have social media, Facebook, TikTok, all of them. Key indicators, generic salutation. We'll talk about this later. They send suspicious links or URL. I've talked about it. Then unusual urgency or tone, spoof adverts. When you open your mails and you have some very adverts coming onto your mails, advertising things, or some of those things are malicious. Sometimes it comes as pop-ups on your screen, your laptop screen, or your phone screens, or you download a particular app over Play Store and it has pop-ups on it. So now, how to detect emails, phishing email. Number one, check the sender's email address. Check the email content. Hover over the links to verify that. I would advise you never to click on any link in an email unless you are so sure of where that email is coming from. Unless it's an email you are expecting, probably from your bank or your boss, or they've told you, look, I'm sending you an email, and the email comes, and when you see the email, also verify from your boss or colleagues that that email is coming from them before you click on any link. Verify the email's legitimacy with the sender. This you do by text message or call. Then you need to use anti-phishing software. This is what your organizations need to store on their network or on their system. So now on this screen, you just have aspects, legitimate email and illegitimate email, things telling you the differences between illegitimate and illegitimate emails. So one of the things you need to use in spotting illegitimate emails, it usually contains a lot of typographical errors, grammatical errors, and unusual sentence structures, because these are not they're mostly not done by professionals or like secretaries. They're not mostly not properly written, you know. Sometimes the URL, some of these fake emails, if you look at their URL, when I mean by URL, that web address, it usually contains very fake things, you know, like it usually doesn't end in .coms or .co.uk or .org. You know, it has a very funny .𝐼𝐈𝐓.EOP or some other thing. And the names are very usually configured in a very very funny way. You know, names are misspelled, you know. Then probably if it's Netflix, it comes Netflix with a double X, you know. All those things are signs that this is a phishing email, you know. So if you're in your time, you can go through this, you know. Then sometimes the graphics is not nice, the logos are blurry, unusual fonts and colors, you know. And sometimes it comes with, it tells you the email is coming from somebody else, and they want you to get to respond to the email to another person. You know, they ask you to respond to the email not with the same address the email came with, but another address. All those things are telltale signs. So how do you guard against it? Multi-factor authentication. Remember, we did that like 2 lectures ago, multi-factor authentication. Then we have anti-phishing tools, which comes like an example of an anti-phishing tool is like a spamware. We also have this sandboxing system, in that any email, before it gets your own laptop, if you're working in an organization, a particular server takes the email, scrutinizes it, you know, checks every links and everything. So if it doesn't find anything wrong with it, then it now passes the email on to you. So that's a sandbox filtering device. Then we have employee training, email verification, and policies, you know, like, you know, policies that are written down telling people, like you as a cybersecurity expert, you tell your workers never click on a phishing link, you know, and then you mandate your organization to set up email gateways, email filtering gateways. Now, we have some global major incidents to tell you how much this thing costs organizations. I'm telling you that by far, this is the most prolific ways malicious actors use in hacking organizations. This is very serious, you know, because I believe most of the figures here are very on the conservative side. Okay, Google and Facebook, and $10 million lost due to email fraud between 2015. And I don't know if you remember the COVID times in the COVID time in the US. A lot of Nigerian fraudsters kind of like defrauded the US government to the tunes of millions of dollars. You know, most of the handouts the American government were meant to give to the indigents fell into the wrong hands in the tune of millions of dollars. So we have the Sony Pictures hack. They use spear phishing that led to massive data breach, and financial impact, $4.91 million average cost of phishing attack. That is per year. I believe all these figures are kind of like very conservative, you know. Now we get to so how do we spot a phishing email? I don't know how many of you have signed out onto the cybersecurity class, because kind of like what we are doing today is just on the surface. Because if you come into the class, there is an in-depth form of analysis in which you get to spot a phishing email, because that's actually one of your jobs. Because a colleague could get an email like this, or could mistakenly click on a link, and it is your job to investigate this. And you can actually spot where these emails are coming from. And, you know, you could actually reverse engineer the link, the malicious link that has been embedded in this, you know. So now, you say PayPal, this one says, now if we read, you say PayPal, your account access has been limited. Now that's number one, that's wrong. team support services at PayPal account-.com to me. Did you see that? It says to me. Now, that's very wrong. PayPal will never send you an email that says to you. PayPal will address, whenever they are sending an email, they will address it to you. Like here, it says PayPal, then it says, dear PayPal customer. Do you see that? Now, that's wrong. That's not the way PayPal does. PayPal will address any email PayPal is sending to you. They will call, they will write your name on it to tell you that this is your email. Then the next line of sentence, it says, your PayPal account is limited. You have 24 hours to solve the problem or your account will be permanently disabled. Now, do you see the tone of urgency there? They are trying to get the person into a state of panic and to respond to this email. Now, that is what we call using the psychological tool of urgency here. And this is intimidating. It's not only has the sense of urgency here, it's also intimidating. So he said, we are sorry to inform you that you no longer have access to PayPal's advantage, like purchasing and sending and receiving money. You know, why is my PayPal account limited? We believe that your account, he says, we believe that your account is in danger from unauthorized users. PayPal will never tell you that they believe that your account, they will tell you your account. They will be very specific to tell you that your account is in danger because the account is locked with them. You know, you own the account, but the account is with them. So whatever that is wrong with the account, they will tell you that this is the problem with your account. Then he now says here, confirm your information. So there is a link hidden in this confirm your information. There is a code leading there. Immediately you click on this thing, it will take you to another website. If care is not taken, you will download a malicious code or virus will be downloaded into your software, into your laptop. This one is another one, Wells Fargo Online. Now, Wells Fargo is a very popular brand, you know, but you never have Wells Fargo Online. Now, look at the email. It says Wells verification, wfbank.connect.auth@t-online.day. Now, that's very fictitious. Wells Fargo is very big. I mean, very, 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 very big. They will never send you a link, this link, .connect@auth@t-online. It will either be at .com or whatever. They will be so definite in that because they're very big. Now, look at the first line is saying something else. Now, the second line is telling you no reply .message. Now, it is not addressed. There's nobody here. There's no name there. It's not telling you admin. It's not telling you anything at fagos.com. So now that is very wrong. That's not the way which, when you see this alone, the first three lines will tell you that this is spoof. This is fake. You know, it says verify your account. Now, once again, it says, dear customer. It's not addressing your name. It's not direct to you. So this is fake. You know, it's not coming from Wells Fargo. This is a spoof email. He said, now it tells you, during our safety inspection, we noticed that your account has not been completely verified and protected. So we require you verify some of your information in order to automatically secure and encrypt your account with the latest update. They want to lure you. You know, verify your account by now, but you have verified your account now by signing into wellsfargo.com/update. You see? They want you to click on that link, and this is a fake. This is a fake email. It says failure to verify your account immediately might lead to the temporary suspension, intimidation again, and urgency. That's the trick. They brought out intimidation and urgency again. Backslide restriction of your account. So that's a fake one too. You know. So now, this is another email, because some of these emails I got it from online. You know, because of kind of like privacy issues, I would have gotten you an email from my own account, but because of privacy issues, I can't really do here. So you see, if you watch this, it says actual sender, not from company and not from displayed name. Because if you go here, if you look, I don't know if you're close to your screen, if you look at it there, the first one, with a box and an arrow telling you, making some statements about that thing. That's exactly what I've kind of like I spotted on the other time. So the second box tells you trying to give a false sense of urgency. Now, what does it say? The box is pointing out to it. It says response required. Even PayPal here, it says response required. By the side, it says often vaguely worded with bad grammar and spelling. It says hover over links to see the actual URL. So these are examples of illegitimate emails. And if anybody clicks on this link, the person gets into trouble. So a recap. So we now talked about social engineering, telling you it's a manipulation strategy and skill employed by malicious actors in order to extract confidential information and login credential from a subject. And sometimes they are so skilled at doing this that they even get the person to give them money straight away. Key takeaway, awareness, training, and technology are essential are very important in mitigating this risk. So call to action. Organizations have to invest in cybersecurity education and strengthen defenses, and which a lot of times, sometimes organizations are not so keen in doing, because when it comes to IT, sometimes organizations don't want to spend money. Thank you. I hope you guys enjoyed the lecture. But I want to ask a few questions. Hello?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay, so I want to ask a few questions. I don't know how many of you can kind of like boldly attempt it. So my question is this. Imagine that you're a pen tester, because what we've done today is like pen testing, but like it's like a bit of the least lecture is under ethical hacking, because you kind of like been educated the way hackers work. So in ethical hacking, you are being trained to think like a hacker, because the only way you can catch a hacker is by thinking like you have to think like one. You have to think like one. The only thing is that you're not going to exploit your skill as a hacker, you're not going to exploit your skill to kind of like defraud organization, but you're going to exploit your skill to defend that organization. So now I want to ask somebody now, you go into your friend's house and your friend is logged, he has his phone, and you've gone into your friend's house with your laptop, and now you're like an ethical hacker, and your friend dropped his phone and says he wants to go to the bathroom, and you're with your laptop. Now, how can you get into your friend's WhatsApp? Did you understand the question?
Please,
exploit trust.
Yeah, exactly. But I want you to think like a hacker. You've gone into your friend's house, you're with your laptop, and you have internet on your laptop, and your friend has left his phone. And he left his phone unattended. He did not lock the screen, and he left the phone and he's gone to the toilet. So how can you log into his?
I understand your question. Do you want
WhatsApp web? WhatsApp web.
You connect to WhatsApp web
fantastic.
on your own laptop.
Yeah, WhatsApp web is the only
WhatsApp
solution.
web.
Fantastic.
WhatsApp web, then you get SMS on the phone.
Okay, fantastic. Who said WhatsApp web? Who is the first person who said WhatsApp web? Ayodeji. Fantastic. That's good. That's very, very good. So how would you exploit WhatsApp web? Anybody can tell what's the process?
You open WhatsApp web on your laptop,
WhatsApp.com,
and then get the scan from his code, and you scan from his phone.
That's fantastic. That's good. That's very, very good. That's very, very good. So, well, that's the end. That's a conclusion. I hope you guys learned a thing or two. You know.
I had an encounter, I think few months back, whereby I was due for an upgrade for EE phone, and I got a call from EE company that I'm due for an upgrade. I told them that yes, I know I was due, but I needed to call them to let them know. They said no, it was fine. That's why they were calling me to let me know. And they told me what phone I would like to get and everything. I just told them an upgrade of what I currently have. So then they asked for my account details and everything. I gave them my account details. They mentioned my full name, my phone number, everything. So I actually thought it was from EE directly. So after everything was done, so they told me I was going to get a new phone in 2 days' time. I was like, okay, that's fine. So for some reason it was really funny the way they have so much of my details. Then I asked them a question that why would you ask for my account details again when you are currently collecting money from my account? And they actually told me that, oh, every time you will have to do that. I was like, no, I've upgraded a lot of times and they never asked me for such information. So I hanged up immediately and called EE, and they told me that they never did, that they would not call me for an upgrade. I will have to be the person to call them. So I had to rush down to my bank to change the details for them to send me a new card. And those people attempted to call me back again. Then I told them that they shouldn't worry, that I should call them back with EE number, which is 150. They're like, no, 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 just contact this phone number. Then I just told them that I know that they were fraud. I've changed my details and everything. So how would you know? My question now is, how would you know if someone actually, like call you from the company directly, giving you your details with no error in it? How would you know if that is valid or not?
Okay. Actually, to be very honest, that's a very tough one. But the thing is, you were quite smart to really spot because just as you were narrating that, I'd wanted to also interject that I don't think they will ask you for your bank details since it's the same EE company and they are claiming from EE company. They will not ask you for your bank details fresh unless you are doing that with another company or a third party company. Then they'll ask for your bank details. I'd wanted to say that. But another way that a lot of companies do it these days, they take you through some security questions. They at the end of the day, they are the ones trying to verify that you are actually genuine, that the account really belongs to you. So they are the ones that will be asking you security questions. They will ask you some security questions like your address, where you stay, your date of birth, and sometimes they'll now proceed to send an MFA, a one-time passcode. And they will tell you to confirm if this number is your own. You say yes, then they'll now send you a one-time passcode. So a lot of time, the genuine ones, they are the ones trying to confirm with you your security. And the reason why they do these things, those guys actually that security is because right there and then, they don't have your details on your account. It is what you tell them that will make them access your account. So anyone that comes up and calls you and tells you, hey, I have your account here without you confirming anything, that one is spoof. That one is spoof because the real guys like Vodafone, EE, anytime you call them, even though they have your number,
Yeah, normally I have a password, so they always ask me for a password.
Yeah, they'll ask you for that password. Even if they will not ask you to tell you the whole. the reason why they do that is that they don't even have your account in their system. It is what you tell them. I don't know if you are hearing me. It's saying your connection is not stable. Now, it is what you tell them that will enable them to access your account. So if you don't get your email correct, they will not be able to help you. If you don't get your password correct, they will not be able to help you, because the reason is that they cannot access your account. So it is the questions you answer that is what enables them to access your account. But anyone that
just told me, then I confirm it. I actually just confirm it.
No. If you're confirming, it's not right. It is what you tell them that makes them access your system, your account. So if they ask you the questions and you get it wrong, they can't access your questions. And
to be honest, I just thought that it was probably someone that was working there, or it's someone that knows me.
The truth is that they must have gotten your details one way or another. Probably you must have gone to some website, or you must have clicked a link, and that link took you to some other place, and you thought it was genuine, and you entered your details. The one way or another, they must have gotten your details. And remember, during the presentation, I told you a software one guy told me that I should download, and it's called Email Extractor. And he just told me, point it at any location. If you type John, everybody in that location with the name John and who has used John as their email, all the emails will come up. Remember, I told you that. So people have such softwares, and I don't know, maybe there's a software that also gives numbers, but there is also an app. There are some people, their job is to sell people's data. If you go to the dark web, there are some guys that make money. If you want people's data, 1,000 names and numbers, probably they will charge you £200, £500, and they'll sell you. They'll sell it to you. It's a market. People's details is a market. They're not collecting people's details for nothing. It's a market. There are some people that are actually making money. Even do you know that people sell Facebook accounts? If you have a Facebook account now, probably you have your name is Beyonce, and you have Beyonce with one other fine name behind. Do you know that some people will actually try to buy that Facebook account from you, either it's TikTok or Facebook account? They actually try to buy it from you and resell it to some other person who needs it. There are people who are selling social media accounts. Then if you refuse to sell it to them, they have a way they will take that account from you. Probably they will just hack that account. A lot of times the hacked accounts is that people hack into people's account because they want to take that account and resell it. So there is market for accounts. There is market for people's data. So there are some people, that is their job. And they have special softwares and special ways of accessing people's information. So that's my answer. So one way or another, there is a way they got your details. There is a way they got your details. It doesn't just work like that. So long as you keep going to the internet, you go to websites. Everybody who goes to the internet goes to websites. We are all in danger. So that's why you have to secure yourself. As you're going, you have to make sure that where you're going is genuine. Like people that download a lot of stuff, online. Some people download movies. People like movies, and people don't like to pay for things. And these hackers, they know it, that people don't like to pay for things. And they just, when they give you movies, sometimes it's not free. They are taking something. They give you free softwares. It's nothing. They are taking something. They're taking your details. Sometimes do you know that they have an application now? If you have a very powerful laptop, you can download you can download a software, and with that software they have a plugin, and that plugin installs itself on your laptop, and somebody else will make use of your CPU or RAM to mine Bitcoin. It's happening. And a lot of people are victims. Sometimes there's what we call bot attacks, DDoS attacks. And this DDoS attacks is like somebody now writes a code, and somehow manages to send this code to thousands of computers. And immediately, and the way, how do they send it? They send it through spam emails. They send it through emails. That's why I thought about emails today. And when people kind of like ignorantly click on these email links, their laptop download malicious softwares, and automatically their laptop becomes like a bot, becomes like a slave to a commanding laptop, to a commanding server. And that web server uses their laptops or their machines or desktop to attack other websites. So your laptop will be sending signals to a particular website, in order to kind of like pull that website down. But you will not know that that is what your laptop is doing or your system is doing, and you will not know that somebody is using your system to do that. So all that exists in these days.
Yeah, I can attest to that, because when I just bought my laptop from Corey PC World, and what happened was that they advised I get the security for the laptop. I told them that, oh, I will go home, think about it, and come back. So when I got home, I was installing everything on the laptop, and for some reason, free security thing came up, and I clicked on it. Immediately I clicked on it, then I got a message on the screen saying that I need to pay £150 or my laptop will be locked.
That's
That I should contact a number. I actually did. I contacted the phone number. They told me that it was meant to be £300, but I should pay £150. If I don't pay £150, the laptop will be locked within 24 hours. I thought they were joking, because obviously I'm not interested. That's the reason I did not get the one from Corey PC World. So for some reason, I waited 24 hours. My laptop is still locked. So I actually took the laptop back to Corey PC World. I only just bought it yesterday. And this is what is happening. They were laughing at me that yes, it's the hackers. They've taken over the laptop. So I told them, what can I do? So that someone actually pitied me and told me that it's fine. If I'm ready to get the security thing, they're gonna like just work on the laptop and install the security, then I can come back to collect it. And I just agreed. But yeah, it does happen. Thank you.
Yeah. That's what we call a ransomware attack. Yeah, the last person. Hello?
Hi, Edmund. Are you still there?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, please. I'm here. I was asking where I can find the upload, the Azure setup, please.
Okay,
It
the
says
Azure
on,
setup,
it
I
says
think
on the chat. Yeah, it says on the chat that it has been uploaded.
okay, you have to deal with that with the admin. Sorry, I cannot help you with that here.
It has been
Sorry.
uploaded.
Talking about BitLocker, something like that. I think we talked about some security features, and then there was the part where we're talking about a BitLocker. So I had an experience which I'm still finding hard to. We're talking about passwords and encryptions and stuff. And an experience I had that I'm still yet to resolve is the fact that my partner erroneously typed in a wrong password because he knows the password correct, but then because the children were fiddling with it, I changed it and he didn't realize I changed it. So he carried on entering the one. My children actually did enter the ones, the previous ones, and then he not knowing that I changed, he just entered it one more time, and then it just locked up. So at the minute we still can't access that system, so it just comes up to say that it just comes up with a blue screen, BitLock recovery. But the thing is, it's not coming up to say to enter any BitLocker key or anything, because I don't think we, set the BitLocker active when we bought that system or when we configured it to start using. So I've been locked out of that hard drive, and I've not known. I still don't know what to do with it. So I thought maybe if I popped in this question, if there might be any help to tell me how to go about it. Because we did talk about it last week, but we're running out of time, so I didn't want to ask my question at that point. Thank you.
Okay. Is it a phone or a laptop?
A laptop, sir.
Okay. What happened? Is it like the whole laptop is locked or what? Or a
So the Windows, it loads up. We're talking about operating systems and how the security features, that it puts. That was last week. So the Windows, it loads up when you turn on the laptop. The Windows loads up, and then after it loads up, instead of taking you to the screen where you put in your password, it just goes to a blue screen, and it's about BitLocker, but it's not saying to put in BitLocker key, recovery key or something. It's just on that blue screen about it's saying advanced options, and it's just BitLocker, but no space for me to put in the keys.
okay, it's BitLocker, not Bitwarden.
No, BitLocker. Like the hard drive is locked, I can't access it.
BitLocker is a Windows security feature.
Yes, because I read about it. I saw that it's the Windows that put that in place because they were entering too many passwords. But I personally now cannot even access that drive.
Just a moment, please.
So the truth is, I didn't install that system. I didn't configure it myself. I didn't set it up myself. So I don't even have access to the key. I called the people I bought it from because they had sent it to me from Nigeria. I bought it from a friend in Computer Village. So they just loaded that system up and then sent it to me through someone that was coming. But when I called them, they said they didn't set up any local password on it or anything. They don't have access to anything. But I can't get through to that system.
Is the system brand new?
Yeah, it was brand new when I bought it. It's less than a year old.
This one I might need a little bit of time to think to figure out how to unlock it. It's not actually a password vault. That one, this one. So it's like the Windows app itself. Another way to get around about this thing is to format the laptop itself.
Yeah, I thought so too. I was just scared of losing my files and data. That was why I thought to ask you if there might be any way you could. But it's all right if you need to take time to think about it.
The thing is probably next lecture. Let me see if I can figure
Yeah.
out a way, or probably
All right.
on the platform you can kind of like I can send a message if I figure out a way, Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very
It
much.
says, okay. Do you know what you do? You have a phone, right?
Yes, I do.
Go to Microsoft Copilot or ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Type in how to unlock BitLocker on systems.
Okay.
So if you type it on BitLocker, how to unlock it, it might show you a step-by-step instructions on how to unlock it, because I've just gotten one here. I'm on Copilot. But the thing is, you might have to look for a way to activate the command prompt. That is when
Yeah.
the system is
I
trying to
got to that point. Yeah, I got to that point. I was able to activate the command prompt, but I didn't know what lines of
code.
code to execute to run on it. Yeah, I was able to pull out the system details and everything, but I didn't know what next lines of commands to run.
Okay. Go to Copilot. It will help you with
Okay.
that. It will tell you the
All
line
right.
of commands to run.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Copilot will help you, because I've already seen some on my screen. All right. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you for
You're
your time.
welcome. Yeah. Okay. I guess that's the last person for today. All right. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Yeah. Thank you. I'll
Thank
stop
you very
sharing
much
now.
for your
Yeah.
time.